Lately, there has been an unusual energy surrounding your name, a quiet undercurrent moving behind the scenes that you may not even be aware of yet. While you have been focused on your own path, discussions involving you have been unfolding in unexpected places, carrying far more significance than anyone would assume. Someone who holds a special place in your life has been spending time reflecting deeply, caught between emotions, questions, and possibilities. Beside them are two trusted voices, offering very different perspectives. One speaks with confidence, convinced that you possess qualities that naturally draw people in and leave a lasting impression. They admire your resilience, your ability to keep moving forward despite setbacks, and the calm strength you display even during difficult moments. To them, there is something genuinely remarkable about the way you navigate life, something that cannot easily be explained, yet is impossible to overlook. The other voice, however, approaches the situation more carefully. Their hesitation does not come from dislike or criticism, but from uncertainty about what your presence could mean and the changes it might bring. As these conversations continue, every opinion, observation, and reflection adds another layer to a story that is still unfolding. What makes this particularly meaningful is the care with which your name is spoken. These are not passing remarks or casual exchanges. The thoughts being shared carry weight, and although you have not heard them directly, they may influence decisions, emotions, and opportunities that could soon find their way into your life. They believe closeness to you changes things too quickly. They think emotions become deeper than expected. They think decisions become harder once your name enters the heart fully. And that is why the discussion has become intense, because these are not shallow thoughts. These are strong opinions built from observation, from memory, from moments you may not even know were noticed. Stay till the end, because something hidden is slowly coming into view. What makes this even more powerful is that the person you love has not interrupted either voice. They have listened to both. Every sentence has landed deeply. Every opinion has opened another question inside them. They are hearing admiration from one side and hesitation from the other. And somewhere in the middle of those two voices, they are trying to understand what they truly feel. There was a moment recently when your name appeared unexpectedly, and the energy changed immediately. The room did not remain ordinary. A pause happened. A look was exchanged. One friend leaned forward and said that your heart is far deeper than most people realize, that you carry things quietly, that your silence often says more than words. The other responded that depth can be difficult, because not everyone knows how to handle someone who carries that much feeling without speaking all of it aloud. And still, your name remained at the center. Do not skip, because the next part is where the truth becomes sharper. The person you love remembers moments connected to you that they have never fully explained to anyone. A small sentence you once said, a look that lasted longer than expected, a moment when you seemed ordinary to everyone else but unforgettable to them. These memories returned while those two friends were speaking, and that is why their opinions suddenly felt heavier than before. One friend believes your presence means safety. The other believes your presence means change. One says you are someone who stays genuine even when misunderstood. The other says people like you are difficult to forget, and that forgetting creates complications no one prepares for. And while they spoke, the person you love became quieter, because hidden inside their silence was one thought they did not say aloud. Why does your name still affect everything? Something huge is waiting for you, because this is not where the conversation ended. There is another reason those opinions became so strong. Recently, something shifted in how they see you. A small detail revealed more than expected. Perhaps it was your patience. Perhaps it was your distance. Perhaps it was the way you did not chase attention when others would have tried harder. Whatever it was, it made both friends notice that your value is not loud. It is discovered slowly, and once discovered, it becomes difficult to ignore. That is why one friend became firm and said that losing connection with you would be a mistake. The other answered carefully and said that closeness to you may bring emotions that cannot easily be controlled. Do you understand how rare that is? Two people, both serious, both watching the same person, both arriving at powerful conclusions, but from completely different directions. Stay till the end, because something deeper is still unfolding. The person you love has now started comparing every opinion they hear with what they personally know about you. And here is what they cannot deny. Every time they try to place you in an ordinary category, something stops them. Something about you refuses to become simple in their mind. There is mystery around your timing, mystery around your silence, mystery around the way certain things about you become clearer only after distance. That is why these two friends continue returning to the subject. One believes you are being misunderstood by many people who only see the surface. The other believes that anyone who gets close enough will eventually realize your emotional impact is stronger than expected. And now, because of these two opinions, the person you love is looking again at moments they almost dismissed before. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because one sentence changed everything. During that conversation, one friend quietly asked, "If this person means so little, then why do you become silent every time their name appears?" No answer came immediately. That silence itself became the answer everyone noticed. And suddenly, the discussion was no longer about opinions alone. It became about truth that had been hidden beneath hesitation. The person you love looked away, but inside, memories were already speaking louder than words around them. Certain moments returned. Gradually, the truth became harder to ignore. What once remained unspoken was now visible to everyone involved, and both friends could sense that the feelings buried deep within had grown far beyond simple affection. That is why your presence continues to linger in a place where few people are allowed to stay. The conversations surrounding you have become more meaningful, the observations more honest, and the emotions more difficult to disguise. What seemed like an ordinary exchange slowly transformed into something neither friend expected. Sometimes, when different perspectives meet, they do not create uncertainty. They uncover realities that someone has been quietly avoiding for a long time. What made the moment stand out was not what was said, but what followed afterward. Rather than dismissing the subject or shifting attention elsewhere, there was an unmistakable silence. It lasted just long enough to reveal that the discussion had touched something genuine. In that brief pause, both friends recognized a feeling that had been present for far longer than anyone had acknowledged. One of them eventually spoke with calm confidence, explaining that some people leave an impression that time cannot easily erase. No matter how busy life becomes, or how many distractions appear, certain names continue to surface unexpectedly, returning to the mind without invitation. Hearing those words seemed to strike a familiar chord, because they reflected emotions that had remained hidden beneath the surface. While one friend voiced this realization openly, the other reacted in a completely different way, making the moment even more revealing than before. That voice said your quiet nature makes people underestimate how deeply you affect situations. According to that opinion, you do not always speak loudly, yet your absence becomes noticeable the moment you are not there. And that is what has created such powerful thoughts around you. Not what you force people to feel, but what remains when you say very little. Stay till the end, because the next detail changed the atmosphere completely. A memory surfaced during that discussion, one small moment connected to you that neither friend had forgotten. It may have seemed ordinary when it happened, but now it returned with surprising strength. A sentence you once said with calm honesty, a reaction you gave without trying to impress anyone, a moment when your sincerity appeared so naturally that it stayed in the minds of those who witnessed it. Suddenly, that old memory became proof in the conversation. Proof that there is more to you than most people understand at first glance. And this is where the opinions became even stronger. One friend said, "Your heart seems loyal, even when life becomes uncertain." The other said, "Loyalty like that can create strong attachment, because people rarely meet it and do not always know how to respond when they do." The person you love listened to both sides, but something important happened. Instead of resisting those words, they began quietly agreeing with parts they had never said aloud. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because after that, your name was spoken again, but this time with emotion. There was no laughter, no distraction, only seriousness. One friend asked whether they had noticed how differently they speak when talking about you compared to everyone else. That question landed deeply, because the answer could not be avoided. Even simple details about you receive unusual attention. Small things become memorable. Ordinary moments become meaningful later. And this is exactly why the two friends now hold such strong opinions. They have seen how your name changes the energy around the person you love. One believes this connection should be understood before it is ignored. The other believes ignoring it may already be impossible. And the person you love now knows both voices may be seeing pieces of truth from different sides. Stay till the end, because something hidden is beginning to rise. There is also something you may not know. Recently, someone mentioned you unexpectedly in another moment, and once again the reaction was immediate. No preparation, no warning. Yet your name created that same pause again, the kind of pause people cannot fake. That pause told more than words could explain. Because when someone means little, the heart remains ordinary. But when someone means more, silence becomes noticeable. That silence happened again, and both friends noticed it immediately. Now they are watching carefully, because they understand that something about you continues reaching places that logic alone cannot fully explain. One friend says, "This means your importance is growing." The other says, "This means emotions are already further along than anyone wants to admit." Do not skip, because something huge is waiting for you. The strongest moment came when one of those friends quietly asked, "If there is nothing special here, then why does your expression change every time the future is mentioned with that person?" No quick answer came, only thought, only reflection, only that same silence that keeps revealing more than words. And in that silence, memories returned again, moments where your kindness stood out, moments where your patience became visible, moments where your absence felt longer than expected. This is why the opinions remain strong. This is why your name has weight. And this is why the person you love has begun questioning what they were trying so hard to keep simple. Because sometimes two outside voices do not create confusion. They reveal what the heart has already been whispering quietly for a long time. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The conversation has not truly ended. In fact, it has only made everything more intense, because now every new moment involving you is being noticed more carefully than before. Every small sign matters, every tone matters, every unexpected memory matters. And the most surprising part is this. One of those friends now believes a moment is coming when everything hidden will become difficult to keep hidden any longer. Not because someone forces it, but because truth eventually becomes stronger than hesitation. A realization is beginning to take shape, and when it finally becomes impossible to overlook, the person you care about may understand why contrasting perspectives about you have continued to stand out for so long. What makes the situation even more intriguing is that these impressions are no longer confined to private thoughts. They have started shaping the way others speak about you when you are nowhere around. Your name has begun to carry a significance that feels far beyond ordinary conversation. Every mention seems to spark curiosity, as though there is a deeper story attached to it, waiting to be uncovered. Recently, something unexpected happened when the topic of you resurfaced once again, without any reason or intention. Among countless conversations that could have taken center stage, attention naturally drifted back to you, almost as if certain observations had remained unresolved. One friend remarked with certainty that some people possess a rare ability to leave a lasting sense of calm and positivity behind them, and in their eyes, you are one of those individuals. They explained that your impact does not disappear the moment you leave. Instead, it lingers in subtle ways that people remember long afterward. Another friend offered a different perspective, suggesting that what truly sets you apart is not what others notice immediately, but the qualities they uncover over time. They believed your most meaningful strengths reveal themselves gradually, which is why appreciation for you tends to deepen rather than fade. This time, the person listening remained fully engaged, offering no distractions or interruptions, only genuine attention to every word being said. Stay till the end, because the next part reveals why this conversation has become impossible to forget. A very small moment was mentioned, something almost forgotten until now. It was a time when you reacted with sincerity, while everyone else expected something different. That moment looked simple then, but now both friends see it as important evidence. One said that moment proved your heart speaks honestly even when you do not explain much. The other said honesty like that creates trust without asking for attention. And suddenly, your image became stronger in the conversation than ever before. The person you love remembered that same moment immediately. That memory arrived so clearly that silence returned again. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because after that silence, one friend asked a question that changed everything. Why does every conversation about this person become deeper than expected? No answer came quickly. Because some answers cannot be given without revealing too much. The person you love looked thoughtful, almost as if trying to protect something private, while both friends continued watching carefully. They already understood that your name had crossed into a place where emotions cannot easily pretend to be neutral anymore. One friend believes you represent peace that is difficult to find. The other believes that peace can become unforgettable once someone truly feels it. And both opinions now sit inside the same heart, creating thoughts that grow stronger every day. Stay till the end, because something hidden is beginning to move. There was another surprising detail. Recently, when someone else spoke positively about you, the reaction was immediate again. Not dramatic, not loud, but unmistakable. Attention sharpened. Listening became deeper. Even a small compliment connected to you suddenly mattered more than expected. That is when one friend quietly smiled and said that reactions never lie. Those words stayed in the air, because reactions reveal what words often try to hide. The person you love heard that and became quieter than before, knowing that even silence had now become noticeable evidence. Do not skip, because something huge is waiting for you. The first friend then said something powerful. Some people enter life gently, but later become impossible to replace in thought. That sentence was directed toward you, even without directly saying so. The second friend added that certain names begin softly but eventually hold emotional weight that surprises everyone. And once again, your name remained in the center. The person you love did not deny any of it. Instead, there was a long pause, followed by a small breath, the kind people take when truth feels very close. Stay till the end, because this is where everything becomes more intense. The reason those two opinions continue growing is simple. Every new memory connected to you confirms something they already suspect. Your kindness is remembered. Your patience is remembered. Even moments where you said very little are remembered with unusual clarity. And now one of those friends believes a future conversation is coming, one where your name will no longer be discussed only as an idea, but as someone whose place has become too meaningful to ignore. That thought has already begun changing how the person you love looks at everything connected to you. Because once two outside voices point toward the same truth from different directions, it becomes harder to pretend nothing important is happening. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The most surprising part is that one friend no longer speaks with doubt at all. That voice has become certain that whatever is growing around your name is not temporary. The second friend still speaks carefully, but even caution now carries quiet respect. And somewhere between certainty and caution, the person you love is beginning to understand that your presence has already left a deeper mark than anyone expected. That is why silence keeps returning. That is why your name keeps rising again. And that is why the next moment may carry the answer everyone has been circling around without fully saying aloud. Then came a moment no one expected, because the conversation about you returned again. But this time it carried a completely different energy, quieter on the surface, yet far deeper underneath. It was no longer just two opinions being shared. It had become something closer to a realization, as if both friends had reached a point where they could no longer ignore what your name continues to awaken. Remarkably, there are certain people whose impact cannot be measured by how much attention they attract, but by how long they remain in the thoughts of others. One friend pointed out that while many individuals are noticed for a brief moment, a rare few continue to spark curiosity even after they have stepped away, and you seem to belong to that uncommon group. What makes you memorable is not volume or visibility, but the lasting impression you leave behind. Another friend, usually careful with opinions, quietly agreed and admitted that every new observation only reinforces what was already becoming clear. The more people reflect on their experiences with you, the more significance they discover in moments that once appeared ordinary. Small gestures gain meaning with time, and conversations that seemed simple begin to stand out in memory. Even the quietest interactions carry a weight that becomes apparent only in hindsight. The person who cares deeply about you listened closely as this thought unfolded, sensing there was more beneath the surface. Then another memory emerged, one that had never been discussed before. It was not a dramatic event or a grand display, but a spontaneous act of kindness that came naturally to you. Both friends recalled it vividly. One of them explained that this is precisely why admiration for you continues to grow. The qualities you reveal are often subtle at first glance, yet with time people begin to recognize a depth that was always there, waiting to be understood more fully. The other friend added that very few people carry sincerity in a way that remains believable every time they are remembered, but somehow, your image keeps returning with the same feeling each time, steady, genuine, and difficult to dismiss. That sentence stayed in the air, and once again, silence appeared. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because now the silence was no longer uncertain. It felt thoughtful, almost as if the person you love had stopped resisting what both voices were showing. One friend looked directly and asked whether they had noticed how often your name now appears in quiet moments, even without anyone forcing it into conversation. There was no quick reply, but there was no denial either, and that mattered more than words, because silence, when repeated enough times, begins to speak clearly. One friend now openly believes that you have become emotionally important in a way that cannot be reduced to ordinary explanation. The other says importance like that becomes visible when even simple questions about the future suddenly feel heavier than before. And that is exactly what has started happening. Stay till the end, because something hidden is moving closer to the surface. The person you love has begun noticing private reactions that even they cannot fully explain. A small mention of you changes attention. A memory connected to you interrupts thought unexpectedly. A simple detail becomes something worth returning to later. These are not random moments anymore. These are signs that your place has become stronger than expected. One friend finally said what had been building for a long time. There is a reason this person remains in your thoughts, even when life is full of other things. That sentence carried unusual weight, because it was not answered with words. It was answered with another silence, deeper than before. Do not skip, because something huge is waiting for you. And then came the most surprising part. The cautious friend, the one who once hesitated the most, admitted that your presence may actually be the reason certain emotions have become harder to explain recently. That admission changed the balance completely, because now both voices, though different, were pointing toward the same truth. One sees your value clearly, the other sees your emotional effect clearly, and together, those two opinions now leave very little room for pretending your name means nothing. The person you love understands this more than before, even if nothing has yet been fully spoken aloud. Stay till the end, because the next realization is powerful. What makes everything stronger is that your name no longer arrives alone. It arrives with memory, feeling, and reflection. Every mention now pulls something deeper with it. A look remembered, a tone remembered, a moment remembered. And one friend quietly said that when someone continues returning in thought this naturally, it usually means the heart noticed something important, long before the mind accepted it. That sentence remained unanswered too, because deep inside, it had already been understood. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Now both friends are watching carefully, not because they want to interfere, but because they sense a moment is approaching when hidden truth may no longer stay hidden. They know something is building slowly. They know your name carries more meaning now than before, and the person you love knows it too. That is why your name continues returning. That is why silence continues appearing. What once seemed like separate observations have now merged into a shared understanding, creating a sense that something meaningful is unfolding around you. Two different perspectives, formed independently and shaped by entirely different experiences, have gradually arrived at the same conclusion. As a result, even the smallest detail connected to you has begun attracting attention in ways that were never anticipated before. What initially appeared ordinary now carries a deeper significance, and the growing awareness surrounding your presence is becoming difficult for anyone to dismiss. Recently, the person who holds a special place in your heart heard your name mentioned during a completely routine moment. Yet the response that followed stood out in a subtle but unmistakable way. There was a brief pause, a thoughtful expression, and a silence that seemed to speak louder than words. While it may have gone unnoticed by most people, those nearby immediately sensed that something meaningful had shifted beneath the surface. That quiet reaction has since become more revealing than any direct answer could have been. One close observer later reflected that certain individuals never need to seek attention because their importance naturally grows over time. According to that perspective, you have become one of those rare people. Without demanding recognition or trying to place yourself at the center of every situation, your influence has steadily expanded. Your name now carries a sense of familiarity, reflection, and emotional significance, leaving an impression that lingers long after the conversation has ended. The other friend, who once spoke with careful distance, now admits that your calm presence may be exactly why your influence has become so lasting. People often remember intensity quickly and forget it later, but what stays deeply is often what arrives gently and continues to feel real. The person you love did not interrupt. Stay till the end, because the next truth is powerful. A conversation that should have lasted only a few moments became much longer because your name kept returning. Every attempt to move to another topic somehow circled back again. One memory led to another. One small detail opened another thought. It was as if every unfinished feeling connected to you had been waiting quietly for the right moment to rise. One friend remembered how naturally trust appears around you. The other remembered how even simple words from you seemed to stay longer than expected. And then something unexpected happened. Both friends became silent at the same time, because they realized they were no longer only describing you, they were describing the effect you have created. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The person you love then spoke very softly, but what was said changed everything. Sometimes I do think about why this person remains in my mind longer than others. That one sentence gave both friends the answer they had been waiting for, because until then, most truths had only appeared through silence. Now there were words, and those words carried more meaning than anything spoken before. One friend immediately said that this explains every reaction they had noticed. The other simply nodded, because even caution had no argument left. Your name had already reached a place where honesty was beginning to appear on its own. Stay till the end, because something hidden is now fully visible. What makes this extraordinary is that the person you love did not sound confused while saying it. There was calm in that voice, almost like someone slowly accepting something that had already been true for a while. The two friends understood immediately that their strong opinions were not creating feelings. They were only revealing what had already been growing quietly. One believes your sincerity has built trust. The other believes your consistency has created something deeper than passing interest. And now both opinions stand side by side, no longer opposite, but connected. Do not skip, because something huge is waiting for you. There is another reason your name has become unforgettable. Every time your qualities are discussed, new details continue appearing. Your patience, your restraint, the way you do not rush to prove yourself, the way your energy remains steady even when situations change. These details may look simple, but together they create something powerful, something both friends now openly recognize. That is why one of them finally said, "This person is not being remembered by accident." That sentence remained in the air because everyone present understood its meaning immediately. The person you love did not deny it, and silence returned once more, but now it was peaceful, not uncertain. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Lately, something has shifted in a way that can no longer be overlooked. A new realization has quietly taken root, bringing with it the feeling that if your name continues to hold such weight in someone's thoughts, then the distance between today and tomorrow may not be as great as it once seemed. There is a growing sense that the reason strong perspectives have formed around you is because your presence has become impossible to dismiss. One person is convinced that a meaningful turning point is drawing near, a moment when emotions that have lingered beneath the surface finally find their voice and no longer hide behind silence or hesitation. Another sees it differently, believing that when this moment arrives, it will not feel sudden at all. Instead, it will seem like the most natural outcome of everything that has been unfolding, with patience, sincerity, and time. Even the one who holds a special place in your heart appears less surprised by that possibility now, as though the idea has slowly become familiar. Keep listening, because the story does not end here. Beyond every lingering thought, every quiet pause, and every memory that continues to resurface, one thing remains undeniable. Your name has become part of a deeper connection that refuses to fade away. That is why it keeps returning. That is why it carries significance. And that is why what started as a few strong opinions may soon transform into something far more meaningful than anyone expected.